I've been spending quite a bit of time on the spiritual warfare. It's kind of just a point in parallel that I remember in a video I said something like that God coordinated the chaos of the spiritual realm and manifested it in logic through His Word, expressing the crucial movement of intelligence with His. I mean, it's your pure seed with God. Whatever. That's another discussion all by itself. Because you'd say there's the moral law and all that, but God he's there for nothing for your moral law and all that stuff. God's got nothing to do with that. That is all formed by the perspectivity you have from reality. And if you're all troubles, because you have the wrong perspectivity. You don't see it just, you don't see it in a systematic of function that present you with any real benefits to it. You haven't realized salvation. You don't know what salvation is. You're pissed at reality, one way or another, to see it. If you're uneasy with reality, you're in a better position that, but whatever. Okay. The dynamic of that, I just want to pinpoint quickly that the dynamic of that being your level of sensitivity, that you're usually at the bottom because you don't take any pleasure at the gears of society, because you don't see the reason why competition is so abundant, and you don't get the dynamic that we're executing in between each other, and that kind of spiritual warfare that brings you towards what the devil hates more. It's salvation, because he can't touch you anymore. He can't touch you because you know who he is, and you see his effects all day long, and that's how you get salvation and redemption on this realm of reality, on the only one I know for now. is to attain a sense of certainty and ability of description of it in pretty much any sense, where the sense of truth is crucial to be obtained. Sure. Which is the language of the angels. That don't require a high level of intelligence, but a high level of comprehension. And not a complicated comprehension, but an acceptance of the basics to be comprehended. And everybody's intelligent enough to seize of the consistency of the substance of transgression or salvation. What gets in the way is pride, in a direct mean of the curse being your impression that you make a good life because you work towards trying to be the best man. And that's what everybody wants to accomplish for themselves, is to be the good guy. But it achieves nothing. It's the wrong way to visualize, to see salvation. You have to see salvation. It's a sense of comprehension of the integrality of the work that is being done by the regard of the concept of reality for everything that it englobes when you regard it as one unit. So the way the stars turn in the sky, and the manner you're stuck every morning in the traffic with your car. And the whole thing, for what happened in reality, for the reality we can kind of see at first glance, it's that work of generation of hope. You generate out of the ground your experience of hope. So that's the beast. That's what the Bible describes as the beast. The long movement that through our bright intelligence placed at the wrong place, we've developed market and road and countries and grew slowly like that. All society, all to a point that it's at least attached all together by a gravel road, and then better and better, and then they get the track in, and ameliorating the society. That's the beast. And what drives it is the whore, wisdom misapplied, so it can rise a nice beast. But that beast is at a point of termination today. It's accomplished. It's been accomplished long time ago. It's just haven't been accepted in the societies, because the spiritual war have brought us completely innocent of all spiritual aspect of thing. And the big guys, not only they have the computer to play along with the spiritual realm, but everything that the spiritual realms holds as power, they have them under secrecy. Through the generation, having lost those wars spiritual wise, still there's no more spiritual power. Not in a mean that you remove that spiritual power, because you can't. But now only a select kind of people are are fully playing with all of them, because the residue of the population, especially I think the last era that had it was the Victorian era, and I think they were feeding out of ether or thing something like that, because they all look so great and they didn't work. And then they cut that off, and I wouldn't be doubting that it's tied with the all the stuff on the roof, the antennas and the brass roof and the domes and the peaks and all that stuff. It gives you its life substance right through those kind of granity rock with the whatever. That's it. We don't know about any of those mechanism of spirit anymore. And if I look at that with the Victorian, and they had to have wires and things like that, and you look at St. Petersburg, there was no wires. So what happened there? They were losing spiritual transfer power, because when you lose the war, the third guy now always take from one or the other. He doesn't care who lose, who wins. And he grabs the spiritual power that lose. Boom. I take that first before the enemy come, and then the enemy doesn't understand because all the parts are missing. We're completely disconnected of what can happen into the control room, or what is the substance of that control room that gets the whole humanity going. And it's extremely simple, because God programmed it like that, so it's part of reality, and that's solely your natural instinct, like your natural biological entity. So you come avec a set of things with that, and that's your survival. One mode is survival. You gotta survive, and you pile up intelligence on that, and you have some kind of an intelligent way at ameliorating your chance of prosperity. It didn't take long for the man with his superior intelligence to mind you, it was programmed like that we were to be chief down here, but to make ourselves way too comfortable. Because the lawyers don't chip the stone, so you make a teepee or something like that. And you don't chip the stone. So there's reasons for that. Because soon enough you pile stone, and second dose soon enough you start realizing that there's shit coming out of that rock, and you can pray to it and some other shit happen. That's all you have. There's no computer, there's no Facebook, there's no nothing, and that's what you talk about. And it doesn't take long, like I was saying, 5 generations, and they kind of figure all that out. And then I think 6 Methuselah was okay, but then it went to shit. Figured out the power, and they start fucking around with it, and then they screwed it up. They went into the magic, and then everybody burned their soul. That's the point I wanted to make with that video. You burn your soul, and when the integrality, there's no more chance but know what to get the heck out. And then God pulls the plug, because God let things happen for reasons. Because he needs that purification of spirit in a certain manner. He's got to separate them and steer them, and then re-separate them, and then judge them, kind of thing. It's too once you get the idea that there like would be, like, if I put it quick in my head, kind of 3 grade of kind of idea. There's more than that, but that idea in spirit is exactly the same in the manner that reality is presented to us by, for us being able to acknowledge of the past and have a fatherhood and grow in society and all that stuff. All all those ideas are getting more and more complex, but you have to remember to regard the whole thing, that everything and all parts of them things for amelioration and change and modification and all of that, they are all ideas. You can all concise them simply by thinking of them like idea, and then it's a tree of all those little fixed things, those little nuts that are the idea by themselves, that connected to another, connected to another, connected to another, kind of create that's what they call the tree of knowledge, in a way. That the tree grows by the complexity of the idea added at that instance to the beast. You render it, all that idea, to the beast for the manufacturation of, if you want to call it, I think you call that fairly, the human evolution. That be a right term for evolution at that level. It's that be your pure evolution as a man. It's the growth of your society as a universal regard. So that's like the boiling pot. That's all those references that move and stir and purify and get more and more dark, and then it becomes completely charred, because only at one point you take some parts and you burn them back under. Just to very much illustrate that you're all doing that for nothing, all that nice fire and that burning and that killing and that, not in the manner that you need to feed yourself, and you're part of that nature and all that, and you especially don't want to fall into the spiritual power and get them to feed you, because that's a no return point. And that's the idea that I have to continue with. That when Noah disembarked the boat, the spiritual realm was over, but then they started right over again, boom, and then Babylon, and it's over again, the same kind of idea. But then for some reason, way less water, in the manner that there was a dome of water over your head and there was none anymore, and there was season and they were the boat, and then the mist was not coming from the ground anymore, but everything was built with clouds that rain would shed on you, and complete other ways of what Mother Nature presented so far for environment, which was probably like almost perfect all around, with that big ball of water all around. That's why you have those huge trees in Antarctica and North Pole. For sure, there's all those magnetic shift and all that, but still, there was an era where things were big before the flood. So that broke the principle somehow, that he put the rainbow there. And probably saying that because Enoch always describes the thunderstorm with everything that has to do with the amount of knowledge that enters the earth. Some odd reason that I'm pretty sure that only after that we'll have that one solved. If Enoch was talking shit there or what. but but to affirm the idea that you're not building the world of imagination, you're tapping out of it. Everything that has been imagined is being imagined, is there somewhere else that you have no idea of. But we're only rendering the idea in reality. That's what we're doing. But the idea is out there, and Satan's kind of role of trying to make us do it. Because Satan wants to come here, so he needs a biological entity. So we're fabricating the whole quack for him. Because when it'll be time, there won't be hands needed to do the whole process of fabrication. The artificial intelligence will all have that figured out by itself. So we're perfecting the moment for Antichrist. That's what the Bible says. And that Antichrist will be it's Satan. It's everything that you can conceive of light power for her once again. What do you really have in a thunderstorm lightning arc? Same stuff that move in a computer, but there you go. It's in light. It's in light. It's in plasma. It's not too convenient in a computer, but laser is better. Pure light. Ooh. So maybe the devil jumps right in the computer because it's all laser now and it's all exposed to light. Satan being the master of it. And then light, high electricity, super high frequency becomes plasma and no information. Pretty sure you can you can inform plasma. If you can inform laser. Anyways, all that to say that it's all about light. And that's when you get an idea. It's like the light lights up. It's like when you realize the consistency of reality, the lights lights up. That life never gonna be the same. It cannot be the same. Now you have a crisp understanding why your life exists. When a computer will coincide with or coincide with the ether power, and it's pretty much all being all experimented with and played with. They do fabulous thing with the 5G network. Miracles. Those that little 5G networks, yeah, really creates miracles. And that's the realm. That's all those higher frequency that we can perceive. But when you have that computer power behind it, you know what you're dealing with. So it's in my Bible. It's like you put in intelligence, spirit to comprehend spirit, to concise of spirit, to realize the power of the flesh in that same parallel that the flesh can move mountains. Through the spiritual power. But God will never ask you to move a mountain to show up the crowd. And with the way Jesus healed everybody around and did all that stuff, it's very much to show you his power versus what will be in the Antichrist's power. That dumb fuck will heal everybody for real without going through that stupid computer that will heal you too according to a certain fee. But that's how the war plays at the end. It grabs you by the first lie. That was the last lie persisting, I think, with the Victorian era. And these are all the places in the Bible where you have that kind of idea of some kind of a paradise on earth for some kind of time with God. And that's when you're gonna be directly connected with God. Because Antichrist doesn't own any power. It's God that gives it to him. Because he knows that the elect knows that's how things needs to be purified. We understand the mechanism of what needs to happen to reality for the good reality to re-exist, the purification of the bad ideas. So everything that won't have established real connections of convictions of the past Rome. You know exactly what the past Rome was about once you're in the next Rome. So you're forming a pretty good idea what's going to be on the next Rome. At least for what's written in the Bible in accordance with the judgment. And then that's where I'm just gonna continue with that. That's where the elect and at new birth and the formation of the 144,000 for their written in the Bible. Gonna really take effect with the multitude after. That's once you connect through the spiritual substance of the possibilities of what reality offers for your perfect self being, that you're perfectly happy and perfectly fed and perfectly everything, and you don't really need to eat. It's all spiritual power right through fed. Those will be the first one you'll learn once an Antichrist will unleash you in that Rome. It's your passage through. It's your conviction that the Antichrist will convince you that the same power that the computer was providing you, that has to do with your well-being and your health and all that stuff, now you don't need all that. Come with me, you need nothing. And you'll be fully satisfied. The real motion of that new world order, the real promise. Don't need to feed, don't need nothing, and people will quickly fall when they see others enjoying that. And at first, nobody will see the real plan getting executed. till we perceive freaking like all Mother Nature will retract, and then we'll realize, whoa, we're eating Mother Nature by its own substance. That's why your pyramids are in the middle of Egypt, the most lush place on earth. According to the Bible, you always go to Egypt for all your desire. They have everything in Egypt. Not anymore. They sucked it out. They sucked it dry. But they mostly sucked it dry by the ability of your desire through probably that Giza pyramid that was a machine. And that would cheat the quack of the thing, and your hope will be desired. Well, you're because the shamans are doing it here in Mexico. They're just using another technique, but it works. Your demands are exhausted. You wanted your house. You have your house, buddy. You'll have it. You paid me the 20 grand, and you'll have your house. You take a year, and you get the house. So those power works, and these are basic laws that before Noah they perceived right away, the kind of a law of attraction that you start doing woo woo wah wah woo woo wah wah, and you're completely convinced, a complete nonsense, that things can happen out of that, and then therefore you prosper into imbecility, because it doesn't go one bit towards where you should go. It goes to the total. Like, you understand that as soon as you start entering in that, you're screwed. You're going to hell for sure. Card. That's what is called selling your soul to the devil, just like the Antichrist will do when he'll make you participate into that spiritual realm. It'll open the door for you for that spiritual realm, and then you get lost in there. It's huge. I'll provide you, but the demand will probably change, and you'll probably really I hate to start what you're stuck in, because you see everything get munched and everybody gets super worried, and I don't know what are the fine gears in those aspects of time, but it appears mainly clear in the Bible that everything is a deception base if you want your gas from the devil. So you have to convince yourself of a good deception. It's a more complex and involved price of appreciation, a sacrifice. You do a sacrifice for the devil. That's why you don't want to do sacrifice. That's why God hates sacrifice. Because people are turning it the other way. They execute a demand out of that sacrifice because the blood leaks. Because a life has been taken. An innocent life. Instead of creating trouble, it creates joy, because you have expectancy into the fruit of the result. At the end, you slaughter the sheep, but you think about your Lamborghini. So you don't care about that sheep one bit. So the game is completely on the opposite side with God. You do what God hates the most. You play around with sacrifice. That's where there's so many kids missing. It's nothing better than innocency, traumatizing innocency. Oh, God hates that. Lot of power for the devil out of that. That's all your conspiracy theory and all that shit. They need those UFO, man. They need to get the people so enough confused that they can bring the UFO back. That's kind of the ultimate thing, when the Antichrist will really rock with with his superpowers, and all the UFO will be there. All kind of crazy stuff will happen. The plan of God will be to bring the whole history into a 7 years tribulation. And the 144,000 will be the few that will get discovered real quick when the real stuff will start to happen. And the time before that, like the time that we're in now, is to affirm our boots for the time coming that are pretty close. And that will be the revelation, especially the revelation of Antichrist, but I think the computer will be a good one too. Because then you get two in a credit system and things, the life will get super miserable, much miserable. And then with Antichrist, everything, it'll be a complete full-on utopia. And once the utopia will be well geared and all the powers and everything will be like, everybody will feel their greed with that, then you see Mother Nature disappearing. And that brings about you start bringing a confusion to people, and they start regarding Antichrist wrong. And then he songs and nobody mourn for him, because everybody has comprehended that we have brought ourselves to a complete destruction now, and now that there's no more Mother Nature, we're starting to eat each other, and that's Armageddon, when people will start eating each other for an over deception. And the devil's not gone; he'll still be there, but who else will be there with the devil? Because it's not the game is not. Jesus didn't went and unchained Antichrist. Jesus went and unchained the devil. So the devil needed Antichrist just to bring everybody back into magic, just like before the flood. Boom, and there you have your accusation. Everything that's in there, scrap. No good. No good. They didn't get it, but there's always a place. They didn't took it. Nobody takes it, but there's always a chance for repentance, and nobody dares to do it. But I truly believe in the end times that we're far from that dynamic. But the basic dynamic I see in all that is you become the sacrifice, and you go. Because you need a sacrifice for the Antichrist, and people will start to be really, really not liking what they need to give extra. For better result at first, but then what they need to give extra to keep that result. Because the substance is going in everybody's euphoric emotion. So you gotta share in that. You gotta share in the diminution. So the devil asks more and more and more and more of you. Till you go in front of him and get me. Get me, kill me, have me. Have me, buddy. Kill me. And just like Jesus went on the cross. The same dynamic. You get killed by evil, and the devil will be happy to kill you. Will you have effect? I have no idea. because at that point you're part of the crowd. And all along the Great Tribulation, you build up the crowd. The tribulation and the Great Tribulation, if people are smart enough to catch it before Antichrist gets it, and that's the door for your 144,000. Once the Antichrist happen, the 144,000 are sealed. Boom. It's done. So, what I comprehend by that, I might be wrong, but those 144,000 becomes your two witness. And that are the Jew and the Gentiles. That have queued their words together, because there's a whole bunch of Jews that'll catch the real gig with the Bible, because they know it, and then just need somebody to incentivize that day. Do you catch the quack that we're building Antichrist, and that's the Antichrist in the Bible, and that's your super high tech with your big fucking fat wallet, Jew. And then a lot of people, whoa, they know the Bible real good, and whoa, the Bible says exactly that, and that's really not our Jew story. But if I look at reality, because anybody that has a bit of a understanding of the world and its dynamic and its gear, and has accurate description of what the Bible, how the Bible presents the pieces of the puzzle, just like that beast and that wisdom and those guys, the angels and the demons. But yeah, the fascination you could you can receive at regarding one of those old Egyptian pictograph, when they depict pretty much the globality of what happened in a simplistic manner of how to explain things of reality, and they're pretty much dead on. But it seems to want to be informed how to use those power, which is the trap. You don't want to use those power, because as soon as you use those power, that's where you're going with those power. You're going stuck with the idea of the spirit. That's why you can reactivate those spirit, call them back and shit like that. Through some mass and some manner of doing that, whatever you choose to be able to connect with that spiritual realm. You just have to choose to believe in it, and it'll eventually come once you're convinced enough. And that's convicting yourself that you don't want any part of that in reality, anything. You don't want to do anything with that. But that's what Antichrist will present you all for free, and don't need to eat. That's the idea. Is everything that God has created bad, now I have a solution for it, because I'm His Son Jesus. And look at the Bible, He healed everybody, so I'll heal everybody, and better. Nobody will resist that. Everybody's jumping there. Everybody's jumping there. And I don't understand the reasoning of it yet in the Bible, but it's indicated that the troop must follow there. They must go there for some odd reason. You must go by there. And I think that's exactly what he means by putting your sacrifice on the table, your personal sacrifice, and you sacrifice yourself. and you give yourself to the devil fully, bodily. You have me, you have my life. And that's your possibility of redemption, or participating in the crowd, like I was saying. You're part of the crowd. And the bride is 144,000. The 144,000, they're the chosen one. They're the elect. They're the fixed character in the old story. They are. They are the introduction of the beginning of the end time inefficiency. That from now on, that's that generation that everything will happen for closing the book. Boom. How that period will happen. So the Antichrist is in the middle of that. And then it's how much time the computer can take over us through AI, generating all our decision, that everything's connected through AI. Everybody uses it regularly for most tasks in their life. The AI is rolling. Once AI is rolling, it'll start to present real lippy licking good, whatever. I don't remember what was the expression, but that's when the computer will start being able to heal you through that Wi-Fi, or it'll be Y25 at the time, or whatever. They'll have a hard time not zapping people right dead with it, because it's so powerful. And that's probably your way that you go, oh, that one's died. Oh. that new world order in full on position. That's pretty much what I would see as the beginning of the 3.5 year. The establishment of New World Order, 3.5 year Antichrist, 3.5 year the end. And it's way more like a 3 year, a 1 year, and then a 3 year. That brings about the 1 hour with the 10 king, that put the crisp preparation of New World Order. That's an hour. The unifying of the 10 king, and no good, because now I have taken over. And there's only one. Mind you, the 10 king will stay there, but will slowly disappear and become only one. It shouldn't take too long, that one. But then it's 3 years embarking into parallel possibility that the computer was offering, and then once you're in there, you see the immensity. But you see it already, because it's already all around you, and you see everybody happy, and they don't care about nothing, and they really deeply fundamentally, like in their deep, feel great. Who told you that? The Antichrist. Fuck, I want a piece of his ass. Nobody will be able to say no to it. Free life. Free life. The same less power that they cut us off will be brought right back on the first line. Boom, boom. And then If there's no Mother Nature, I think if we once we start eating each other, then we can't reproduce anymore. We would like the life substance for what Mother Nature. There's a part like that. I'm not able to put it precisely still in this history, but there's a part where you won't be able to reproduce anymore. It won't work anymore. And then Christ come with his angels. So Christ and everybody that is dead so far for the cause, that having crucified himself, having understood that life is eternal, and I must pass in the eternal life if I want to live eternal life, and the only thing I have to sacrifice is my flesh for the freaking miserable life I have down here. Maybe it's better the realm of eternity, and people start to queue on that. Get the heck out of here, that's hell. I need to get rid of my bio so I can pass in the eternal realm. And you only do that if you really are, you're really convinced of something too, because you have lost your desire of survival. Same kind of effect that you have at new birth, but then that time is right now, because at new birth you get that feeling that your life is of absolute no value for yourself. It only has value for you and not self. And if you throw self in the equation, you fuck you. You cannot have self. Fuck self. Fuck your desires. Fuck your stupid idea of creating a future for your dreams. That's the worst case of accusation you can get in the real realm. Now I'll finish for that last point there, for last parallel in the equation, that the whole thing that I understand with the Bible is logic, concision. It's all description and putting parts in their place, and the forces that are all between them, kind of, it's all a comprehension of that reality for the impact of the generation of emotion. That's really much what it brings things down to. Because any emotion that is not conviction about life is kind of a lost soul, in the manner that you're exactly in that realm of imagination that you haven't concise of reality. You live in La La Land, you're trouble. Probably because you're convinced that your life is biological, and your life is not biological. Is comprehensive. It's the work of the mind that comprehend. And I mean, you don't talk much about the heart and all that, but it doesn't matter, because I mean, the heart has been trained at new birth. It has received that conviction of that systematic of reality. You know she works that way. It doesn't work the way I was thinking before. You're convinced of that because you see justice. It's so obvious now. Now I get it. So you're left with one emotion, is conviction. And that one main ideology is all that reality that surrounds you belongs to God, and God is in perfect control of it. So what it's left for you? It's only left for you to comprehend that reality and cultivate that sense of conviction. which is adhering more truth to that reality, and you read it all day long in the Bible, how thing works. Not how thing works for how they works when you see them, but why are we pushed to do those things? What pushes us to do those things? What are those main core frame ideology that we adhere so dearly, that push us to do all that motive? Because we're moving a lot of shit. You can't have your own little place and do your own little food. No. Everything needs to be commercialized and controlled to the end where the computer completely controls your health. And everything is on the computer, and it doesn't, I mean, it's like other thing. There'll be so much stuff on that you might receive so much of those remedies that you don't even want to be notified anymore when you get your shot to be healed, your little radiation shot from the 25G network. But it'll probably just be injected in your mind at that, because uh, like, I mean, how many conspiracy theory you wanna disbelieve when so many realize to be true? But it's always a blast to go through them and organize the senses of them. But apparently McDonald is working to find programmer to tackle that new technology that'll sell Big Mac right through your dreams. Inject imagery right in your dreams. Control dreams. The computer will start controlling your dreams. Injecting publicity in it, and what the fuck else. Really, McDonald's, guys, McDonald's. How much time they've been using that on us? For McDonald's to start working on it. Thinking about the power of the pharmaceutical and the war and the other powers. Imagine. No wonder why everybody goes buy toilet paper for some stupid shit reason. How much that COVID is fake, we'll never know. And to me, it cannot be otherwise than being fake, for the fact that there's always only been COVID, and it was so few more than the normal that being taken in consideration. Everyone that went COVID death with a bullet hole in their head. Money incentive to convict a death on COVID. The hospital getting rich on that. Fuck off. In the industrialized country, when I'm here in Mexico, nobody knows nothing about nothing. I look all day in all those conspiracy, and it's such a blast to go through there to find so much information about. It's very much where human stands. What kind of ideology they have. So you want to inquire about that, about new discoveries, new everything. That's what puts you on plan, and that's how you see the society getting fabricated by that spiritual power. That now we're going in an era of imbecilization because they don't need our intelligence anymore. So when they will get us dumb enough that we can't even think for ourselves, then AI will be so important that it's like an intelligence dystrophy. You're so good took care of that you don't have to think and consider nothing, and you become completely. Well, you don't. How can I say you don't? It's like a space of complete entertainment or amusement. It's all about a feel good and an emotional state. You'll have information, but you see how what kind of direction information have taken and how much people love stupid shit. Because they're probably already injecting us with so much of those things that are bad for our intelligence, our power of being able to put things together and consider things and not become all emotive about discussion, but keep calm and enter in a state of discussion that you want to comprehend the other side. You want to see where the discernment is done, and when you discern emotionally, you're not attractive to an intellectual person. I don't care one bit about an emotional mind. I want a rational mind. And that's where, in that manner, the power of that emotion of conviction breaks all other conviction, all other emotions apart, right apart. And that's the most powerful emotion a man can have, is a completeness in his convictions. But not how about he behaves in society, but how much he comprehends of reality. And that's the two sides of intelligence that needs to be discerned, separated, and acknowledged, and work in consequences of. Because as logic as everything needs to be logic for an elect, for everything that needs to be transferred from a computer to the spiritual realm, to the connection with Antichrist, and then the comprehension that the Antichrist will manifest the powers of God. He won't manifest his own. He doesn't have any power, because if he would have power, he would have used them. So everything that is gonna be seen, that is out of reality, it's God's creation. It's the power of God's creation, and that will be kind of in your face globality of all of our imagination exposed in reality. That'll be like the you'll have UFOs, you'll have little demons running in your house, you'll have all kind of freaking crazy things happening to your brain. It'll be freaking crazy. You don't know if it's real, if it's false. It seems to be real, but it's not really, because it just disappeared and reappeared. Yeehaw! She's open now. And that's the locust. That's when you're gonna be so worried, because you understand that your whole civilization's going to shit because we're sucking Mother Earth dry. There's your attack with the locust and all that stuff. now all the spiritual realm get real excited because you're tremendously tormented, way more than any war can produce. You don't dare talking to nobody because that's where the power are gained and lost. So no, everybody keeps to themselves. Because the real reality is word. It's those vibrations that you perceive with your ears that makes your brain tickle. No dialogue, no spirit steering. And that's I think what the Victorian era was, when I listened to what they have to say, if you can get them speaking, because they don't speak much. They don't seem to speak much. I think I'm gonna finish with that, but these are the kind of the main principal thing is that to bring the whole era of humanity into 7 years. Boom. From perfect, everything logic, everything hand built, everything manifested by the intelligence of men, till full on magic, completely involved in it, baiting in it, stuck in it, not knowing how to get out of it. Boom, 7 years. Whoops, it's gonna happen so fast. Sometimes I have a hard time believing it must be 70 years, but the Bible says 7. We'll see. We'll see when that is. I mean, that's where I base those theories for that 7. For that 7, what is 7 is the perfect, isn't it? I think it's perfect. It's the perfect number. It's like the 10 days in jail. I think it's attainment then. I'm not sure. Something like that. Something that refers that what you have ever made that you have ever made in 10 days. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop with that. Good night.